Good morning, today is June 16th and welcome to the third edition of PowerSlide. Today we're talking about the banning of the GT3 in California, or rather the banning of the manual GT3 in California. Today I wanted to go with some editorial, just talk about some issuings of the car world and move forward with that. So I'll begin with just saying that California never ceases to amaze. When I left California 15 years ago, my parents were always talking about the high taxes and overregulation. You know, I was 5, so I never really thought about it. But ever since I've lived up in the Pacific Northwest, I've always found, California to get more absurd every year. I always see it on the news. So, really the meat and potatoes of the story today. When it comes to car news, it seems that Porsche can't put in a manual transmission into their cars, or at least the GT3, in the state of California. Because of this, Porsche has been forced to contact those who have ordered Porsche cars in the recent year to see if they would agree to getting a 7-speed dual clutch versus the 6-speed manual. According to Car and Driver magazine, the test of this car with the 7-speed dual clutch, it reads 0 to 60 in 2.7 seconds. And maybe many of you guys are thinking that that's just fine, that's a fast car. That's obviously how fast a GT3 is supposed to go. And that's great. Even I would agree. I don't have any problem driving an automatic car. Where I find my objection to this whole thing is when I feel forced that I can only buy the automatic car, where I'm being forced to get a car that I don't want, that in any other state I could buy. Manual cars have existed since the dawn of cars in California. There are thousands of people who get up every morning and drive to work in a manual car and don't crash it and don't cause disturbance, so I find it very hard to believe that we need to suddenly ban the manual GT3. According to some comments that circulate around social media in the hashtag #SaveTheManuals, it seems that part of the problem that California has put out is in which it is easy to modify these certain cars and get away with it, to the point where these cars can become disturbingly loud. Now, let's think about that. What is disturbing in cities? Well, there's a lot of things. I would argue personally that it makes no sense to ban an entire version of car because someone chooses to do something with it that is annoying or illegal already, and to prevent someone who just wants to have their car in manual. I mean, hell, if I'm buying a GT3, fuck it, I'd like it in manual. That adds to the experience. Why are we banning it? It makes no sense. It's kind of like banning iron in the state of California, because that can go into a gun and guns kill people. I understand that handing out a citation or creating a city ordinance in the case that a vehicle is too loud and disturbs a lot of people, I understand that. But how I see it is, why aren't we banning Harley Davidsons then? What about beepers on the back of trucks, or what about jackhammers? I'm not usually one to object to these such things, but I find it to be an overregulation, and I believe I need to personally point this out in hashtag #SaveTheManuals. Personally, I don't know if I would drive a manual car in cities like LA or San Francisco, but I don't think that we should ban someone just because someone chooses to modify theirs. I think manuals are great cars, and I'm only beginning to learn how to drive them. But just because someone modifies a Volkswagen Jetta doesn't mean that we should ban all Jettas in general. Anyway, that's just a small editorial, a opinion piece from me, because I'm getting used to cars. I'm enjoying them quite a lot, and I hope that you guys enjoy them as well. I know these videos are quite short, and I'm just getting into the loop of things. If you have any stories that you'd like me to cover in the future, feel free to link them down below. Tell me a little bit about them, maybe your opinion. If you have anything to add on to why California did the way that they did, there's not a ton of articles about it. I would be more than happy to hear and maybe even make some edits if I said anything wrong. But outside of that, I hope you have a fantastic day. If you would do me a huge favor and hit subscribe, I would personally love that. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Cheers.